Christopher Luxon does his, I think it must be a Monday thing, but he goes on Mike Hoskins' show and he has a chat. So I had a look and I was like, oh, what's he got to say about this? Because obviously Sunday, if this came out Monday, then he's obviously had time to respond. But he didn't actually get asked about this. But I did, we're going back to the fucking COVID. But there's some things that he says right at the beginning of this interview that went, oh, buddy, have I got a paper trail for you guys. So I'm sure you can see where this might be going, but I'm just gonna do my little, this is fun. So I thought I'd go down the rabbit hole, show you where I went. Follow along with me, kids.
Is it? I disagree. I think it's something called accountability, and I think showing up and actually giving the...
What do you mean?
Actually, they need to be called to account on that. But ultimately, they're cool.
Who is the bigger hypocrite, Ardern and Robertson, because they're no longer accountable, or Hipkins and Verrill, who are?
Well, I think, Hipkins and Verrill are making a case they want to lead the country again.
What a shit
and I
question.
think it'll be a disaster, but I think they should at least show up and actually front. But again, it's their decision. And I just say, I get what they're trying to do. Politically, if you're Chris Hipkins, you want to get out from under the rock, which is your last record when you were in government, where the economy got worse, law and order got worse, health and education got worse. I get it. He wants to gaslight and just move on from that past. But I think he should front.
Do you know...
Blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
So he's saying he should show some accountability. He should front up. And he should answer for the things that he's done in the past, right?
Right.
Coming from Luxon himself. Okay, so I thought that sounds a bit hypocritical, doesn't it? Talking about if you want to be a leader, showing accountability, right? Watch the laundry list, and this is just a little bit. Prime Minister on why he did not meet the Hikoi at Parliament. Christopher Luxon defends his decision to skip events at Waitangi. Why Christopher Luxon won't be at the Treaty Principles Bill debate. This is where it gets even fun. Or even more fun, should I say. He said he would be spending Thursday afternoon in a series of calls with world leaders to discuss the global trade war as US President Donald Trump made moves on tariffs again. But he said he wanted to make those calls from Auckland. I'm due to go back to Auckland, and I've got a series of engagements. He told reporters, asked if he had a responsibility to be there, given the controversial bill came up because of his agreement with ACT. Luxon replied, let's back up, blah, 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 blah. Continue. This is quite poignant because there's some news that came out today. PM skips Coalition of the Willing meeting.
Because it was late.
So he could go to the meetings around the Trump tariffs, right? Because those are important. He had to be there. He had to be in Auckland to make phone calls to be part of those discussions, right? However, he couldn't be part of a meeting that was set at 1 a.m. Fair enough, but you're the fucking Prime Minister. With some of the top... He was invited by some of the top world leaders, which I think is a fucking privilege in of itself. This was held by Macron and Starmer, and many other prime ministers and presidents from around the world who want to show solidarity for Ukraine and back up President Zelensky, who's currently just getting fucking thrown to the wolves by bloody Donald Trump, who's snuggling up to Putin at the moment. I'm sure Chewie could explain that far better than I did. But his reasoning for not attending, he says, I have tried to make them wherever possible. This one was at 1 a.m. in the morning. It goes for 2 or 3 hours, and then I'm on a media round this morning, and obviously down here for cabinet this morning as well. He rejected the suggestions he did not join the Coalition of the Willing meeting because he didn't think it was important enough. I have joined in the past. I was just saying that basically the decision was made that I was going to be well represented by officials in this particular instance. But I have joined the calls many, many times before, and I'll continue to do so. He was unable to attend due to the time zone differences. New Zealand was instead represented by meetings by officials. While we have participated in discussions, we haven't agreed on committing New Zealand to any particular action. We have made no commitments at this point. So, I mean, that kind of also says a lot, doesn't it? I'm not going to show up to that meeting of the Coalition of the Willing because I'm currently on the side of Trump and I do not want to get in trouble with him because of the tariffs. So I don't want to look like a good guy. Instead, I'm going to look like a guy who's on the fence, and I'm going to send some cronies who are just going to sit there and listen but not actually participate in any way.
This jellyfish in a blue suit is in full
Just a
effect.
reminder. Just a reminder, at the very beginning of this, I played you a clip in which it said about accountability and if you want to be a leader, showing up to answer the questions. Of which,
Yeah,
in
it's
multiple
phenomenal.
different historic events, plus this one, which is a great opportunity to put us on a good steed with a good number of countries.
Trading partners.
Can't even do it then. Trading partners.
It's wrong in so many ways. What do you think is harder to reschedule? The New Zealand Prime Minister's activities in the next day or maybe the afternoon before, and that's the thing of like, oh, I've got to call cabinet meeting and I've got to front the media in the morning. I think the media would be quite understanding. Chris Luxon's not going to appear on the breakfast show because he's got a multiple hour call with all the European leaders and he's been invited to participate in that. I think the media would go, oh, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's definitely something a country's leader should participate in. Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. And him saying that we haven't committed anything. We have.
Oh, have we now?
We have. We have New Zealand Defence Force personnel in Britain and Poland
That is true.
at the moment,
is true.
helping with intelligence gathering. So for him to say that we haven't committed anything is bullshit. And you'd expect maybe the leader of the country should know where his defence forces are. Would be a pretty key aspect of it. But yes, look, every time that Luxon has the opportunity to show us what sort of leader he is, he does by flopping round on the floor like a freshly caught fish. It's embarrassing. Excellent point, Daniel. He prioritized News Talk ZB with a coalition of basically the only sane democracies left.
I, hands down,
Like
would have
showing
chosen
up.
the 1 a.m. meeting with Macron, Starmer. There was the head of the UN, I think it was. I'm not sure who it was. Someone from the
head of the European Union.
European Union, yeah.
So the coalition of the willing,
yeah.
as they're calling it, is Italy, France, Germany, the UK, Finland, Poland, and I think a grab bag of other countries. Canada and Australia, I think, get included with that as well. So
Surely.
in a really just fucking unstable world, when you look around at the Western countries, we can't rely on the US anymore. It's an absolute basket case. We have no idea what Trump's going to wake up in the morning and decide to do. If we want to look at our traditional trading partners and people that we want to be aligned with, to just ride out whatever chaos is coming from North America, there is no better group of countries, in my opinion, than Europe. And I think that's a really easy thing to say there when someone's going, we're trying to build a coalition because Russia decided to invade another country. That's just really clear cut. You shouldn't invade another country. It has none of the more awkward connotations of what's going on in the Middle East with the Palestinians. We all know what we should do there as well. I've been very clear on what we should do there, but I'm not Prime Minister. I have the ability to make a decision, which is, I think, the defining difference between me and Luxon is that I can make a decision and he can't. That's all I can think of. But yeah, I'm sorry. I have to go to bed early because I got to talk to Mike Hosking in the morning. It's a terrible reason Sorry. So we have to reschedule saving Ukraine for another time.